Snack e-commerce giant faces financial trouble. Overcrowding remains a major concern. Crowds packed Kenting for holiday music festival. Trump and Zelenskyy clash in heated Oval Office meeting. Protesters in Greece throw petrol bombs at police. USAID workers clear out offices. Japan's births fell to record low in 2024. North Korea reopens to foreign tourists for first time in 5 years.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Monday, March 3rd, World Wildlife Day, and here are your top stories. In local news, popular China-based snack e-commerce platform PLL Boss is rumored to be struggling financially. Videos of trucks moving goods at night have sparked concerns. In response, the company assured customers on March 2nd that all orders will be shipped as usual. Taiwan's medical centers are facing severe ER congestion. While seasonal illnesses are declining, staff shortages and work closures are key issues. As of 11:45 a.m., the NTU hospital had 63 patients waiting for beds, followed by Mackay, 33, Taipei Veterans, 31, Wanfang, 30, and Xinguang, 22. Pingdong's South Party Festival drew huge crowds to Kenting over the 228 holiday. Performances by 911, Howard Lee, and others packed Kenting Strait on March 1st, leaving the area overflowing with people and marking a successful tourism boost. And in global news, after Friday's public clash between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, U.S. officials say the path to a peace deal to end the war in Ukraine is deeply uncertain and wholly dependent on the Ukrainian leader's next steps. According to two administration officials, since the blow-up, Trump administration officials have also discussed whether to pause U.S. military aid to Ukraine, though it's unclear whether or when the president would take such a step.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
Zelenskyy was at the White House on Friday to sign a deal with Trump that would cut the U.S. in on money from mining rare earths and other critical minerals in Ukraine after the war with Russia ends. Trump has said the economic deal with the U.S. would serve as a security guarantee for Ukraine against a future Russian invasion like the one that started the war in February 2022. But the deal was never signed and remains in limbo. Trump's aides asked Zelenskyy to leave the White House after an Oval Office meeting, featuring nearly an hour of remarks and questions from reporters, devolved into a spat, which left the president angry and publicly questioning whether the Ukrainian leader wants to negotiate an end to the war.
Greek police have fired tear gas at demonstrators, throwing petrol bombs after a protest marking the anniversary of the country's worst ever train crash turned violent. Scores of hooded youths hurled Molotov cocktails, smashed paving stones, and attempted to storm the barricades in front of the parliament during clashes with police in central Athens. Hundreds of thousands of people have been taking part in rallies across the country to demand justice 2 years after the deadly crash.
Protesters chanted, "You count profits. We count lives," while some carried black balloons and anti-government banners. 57 people were killed when a passenger train filled with university students collided with a freight train in Tempe in 2023. The crash has become a symbol of institutional failure in the country. Protests are being held in dozens of towns and cities across Greece as part of a general strike that has grounded flights and halted sea and train transport. International and domestic flights were grounded as air traffic controllers joined the strike. Seafarers, train drivers, doctors, lawyers, and teachers are also taking part, with businesses and shops across the country shut.
Humanitarian officials said the Trump administration's cancellation of $60 billion in U.S. Agency for International Development contracts is already unraveling significant programs and has caused profound harm to many of the world's most vulnerable people. The pace of change has jumped since Wednesday, when the White House unraveled plans to cut more than 90% of contracts held by USAID, which has been the world's largest single aid provider for decades. In January, an official freeze on foreign aid was canceled as part of the temporary review.
The recently announced cuts essentially eliminate most U.S. development and humanitarian aid abroad and come amid the dramatic contraction of government spending carried out under the aegis of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. President Donald Trump and Musk allege that USAID promotes a liberal agenda and wastes money. Some of the programs at risk support drought-prone populations in Africa, school feeding programs in West Africa, outreach to youth at risk of recruitment by extremist organizations like the Islamic State Group, and public health efforts focused on HIV/AIDS.
Japan's health ministry said on Thursday that the number of babies born in Japan fell to a record low of 720,988 in 2024, marking the 9th consecutive year of decline and underscoring the rapid aging and dwindling of the population. Births were down 5% from the previous year, despite measures in 2023 by former Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's government to encourage childbearing, while a record 1.62 million deaths meant that more than 2 people died for every new baby born.
Although the fertility rate in neighboring South Korea rose in 2024 for the first time in 9 years, thanks to measures to encourage young people to marry and have children, the trend in Japan has yet to show an upturn. Behind Japan's childbirth decline are fewer marriages in recent years, stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic. Although the number of marriages edged up 2.2% to 499,999 in 2024, this increase followed steep declines, such as a 12.7% plunge in 2020. Unlike in some Western countries, only a few out of every 100 babies in Japan are born out of wedlock, suggesting a stronger correlation between marriage and births.
A small group of foreign tourists visited North Korea in the past week, making them the first international travelers to enter the country in 5 years, except for a group of Russian tourists who visited last year. The latest trip indicates that North Korea may be gearing up for a full resumption of international tourism to bring in much-needed foreign currency to revive its struggling economy. Citing official Russian data, a total of about 880 Russian tourists visited North Korea throughout 2024. Chinese group tours to North Korea remain stalled.
Koryo Tours General Manager Simon Cockerell said the travelers crossed by land from China. He mentioned that in Razin, they visited factories, shops, schools, and the statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, the late grandfather and father of current leader Kim Jong-un. Cockerell said, since January of 2020, the country has been closed to all international tourists, and we are glad to have finally found an opening in the Razin area, in the far north of North Korea. After the pandemic began, North Korea quickly banned tourists, expelled diplomats, and severely curtailed border traffic in one of the world's most draconian COVID-19 restrictions. But since 2022, North Korea has been slowly easing curbs and reopening its borders.
The answer for last Friday was B, consistency. The coach emphasized the importance of consistency in training to ensure success. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. Protesters in Greece throw petrol bombs at police. Number 1, barricade. 路障，设置路障物. Protesters built a barricade to block the main road. Number 2, clash. 冲突，打斗. Violent clashes broke out between police and demonstrators. Number 3, rally, 集会. The opposition party held a rally in the city center. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. You can write your answer in the comments section, and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. On March 3rd, 1973, the United Nations General Assembly took a stand to protect endangered species throughout the world. Whether plant or animal, the importance of these species in every area of human life, from culinary to medical, could not be understated. Wildlife benefits us in many ways. World Wildlife Day is a day to remind us of our responsibilities to our world and the life forms we share it with. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune in to Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host, and I'll see you next time.